Picking stocks is not something that I would advise anyone. I went through that because the alpha beta is something which is a fascinating concept in general for life.
Have you ever wondered what would be Ankur Warikoo's views on consulting versus product management, picking stocks versus investing in index funds, or perhaps whether you should be living in tier 2 cities or whether you should consider to move abroad and live outside of India? Then hi, welcome to my channel. I am on a chai break. I know this says coffee. This is the only mug that I have today. And on my channel, I talk about all things management consulting, all things MBA, and all things career advice, many times personal finance as well. So feel free to hit on the subscribe and the notification button so that you are notified whenever I'm at a chai break, doing a lot of interesting discussions with a lot of interesting people, and of course, taking a leaf from my own book as I've spent last 10 years working in management consulting and strategy. This particular episode is very meaningful for me because I have known and I have worked with Ankur since almost 6-7 years ago. I was working in strategy domain in Nearby, and then of course for my own education venture, Ankur has been a professional advisor since quite a lot of time. So I had a lot of interesting time chatting with Ankur, catching up on a lot of interesting details, and I'm going to be sharing this entire chat that I had with Ankur over 30 minutes in 2 or 3 part series. So this is the one of the many parts. I hope you like it. And stay tuned till the end. So of course you get to know about all the interesting views that he had between the conundrum. Brings us towards the second last question. So on personal finance, I have seen 2 of your videos. Both of them are actually few of my favorites. One of them is about index funds. So my philosophy of investing is also in index funds. So I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I don't care about my investing. So I eventually put my money in the index funds. The second video is about how to pick stocks, and the video was around your alpha parameter and beta parameter, which was, my mind was almost blown. Oh my God, this is just such a cool way of picking stocks. To a non-investor or someone who's a full-time student or a full-time entrepreneur or a working professional, because you have made both of these videos, if you were to advise them an investment philosophy, which one would you advise them to pick? And it could be, of course, both if you believe so. But
picking stocks is not something that I would advise anyone. I went through that because the alpha beta is something which is a fascinating concept in general for life. Not just about money, but it's about so many other things. The decision that you make, let's say moving to the US, moving to a tier 2 city, all of them have an alpha, but they also have a beta. And if you ignore one of for the other, then you're not taking a wise decision. And that was my way of explaining it. But for somebody who's starting, please admit you're not the expert. You're not the one qualified. You nearly will not spend as much time as somebody whose living is to pick stocks. So ride on their expertise. Work with an expert who will tell you which stocks to pick if that is what you would want to do. Or the best is just work with markets which are portfolio driven, such as mutual funds, such as small cases, because then that is just riding on the economic growth of an industry or a country as against you picking up some industry specific companies that may or may not work for you.
got it. Which brings us towards the last question, which is, I think, to my view, kind of a full circle taking as well. So about reinventing careers, Ankur, I think a part of me really admires you for not just doing beautifully or magically what you do, but also because you have reinvented yourself and successfully so. Once again, I'm taking a leaf from the conversation that we had back in 2019, and you told me that I see a fixed end date to Nearby and moving out or stepping down as CEO. And once again, as someone who was just starting my entrepreneurial instinct in education venture, I was really taken aback because I always thought that you have to marry the venture, for example, that you have started. So, and I'm also taking a leaf from your own recent book, Do Epic Shit, where there is a quote around, you could pick multiple, you could sit on multiple chairs before deciding which chairs to pick, which to my view, once again, is like reinventing your career. So now that you're almost at the top of the pinnacle of this content creation game,
And of course, there are many more laurels to come. Do you see yourself doing this till an end date, or there is no plan? I would not be surprised. I would be surprised if you say there is no plan. I'm very sure you always have a plan. But what is your view of your current career as a content creator?
I I don't know where it will take me. I'm really enjoying my journey, and that's how I've lived my life. I've given my best to whatever I was doing until I didn't want to do it anymore, and then moved on to do something else where I gave my best again, and that's what I intend to do here as well. I do feel that there is some meat in it. I gave Groupon Nearby almost a decade of my life. I don't dismiss the idea that this could also be a decade that I give to. I started about when I was 40. I'm 42, so it's 2 years in, very, very early. So who knows where it takes me. One big thing that I have done is I frankly not had any goals and targets in my life for the longest time. I know I've always just had a process, and that is it. I'm married to processes. I am married to a way of doing things. I'm married to habits. And what I've always been left surprised with in life is how far those habits take me beyond what could I have ever imagined I could have set as a goal or a target for myself. And that's the power of habits, which is why I love them. And that's the power of processes, which is why I build them. And that's what I'll continue to do. So where it takes me, don't know, but I'm certain it will be far beyond what I had ever imagined myself to if I started and set a goal for myself.
Fantastic. That's it from my side, Ankur. Thank you so much for patiently answering all the questions. If you have any last piece of advice for the followers or rather community on my YouTube channel, happy to hear them from you.
Yeah, thank you for your thoughtful questions. I always love interacting with you. I love what you're doing. I love just the feeling of giving back in such meaningful manner, because it's not something that a lot of people do. And I wish a lot more people did it. But we just need one person to stand up and start the revolution. So I'm glad that you are. And I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you again for reminding me.
So, all right, that's my time with Ankur Warikoo. I hope you like what he had to discuss. Ankur was kind enough to take questions across lifestyle, across personal finance, and across career. And as I've always maintained, if you need more help to get into management consulting, product management, or even public policy, feel free to check out my education venture, globalgovernance-initiative.org. With that, if you like this video, feel free to hit on the like button and of course share it with your friends so that they get to know about all the cool things that we are discussing when we are doing cheers with you on chai. And stay happy, stay healthy, and be kind to each other. I'll see you very much soon. Bye-bye.